Florida politicians just pulled off one of the boldest and most expensive mistakes in modern tourism. A self-inflicted wound worth $6.6 billion a year. That's right, $6.6 billion. Hurricanes couldn't do it, recessions couldn't do it, but politics, yeah, they managed it in just 6 months. Today, we're breaking down how Florida nuked its own economy, and why Canadian snowbirds, once the backbone of winter tourism, are now taking their money elsewhere. For decades, Florida thrived on a simple formula: sunshine, affordable real estate, and a warm welcome to Canadian visitors fleeing the brutal winters up north. These snowbirds weren't just tourists, they were long-term investors. They bought condos, paid property taxes, supported medical clinics, ate in local restaurants, and filled hotel rooms. Entire communities in Florida were built around this seasonal migration. But then, politics stepped in. Instead of protecting this golden goose, Florida leaders turned it into target practice. Before we dive into the shocking numbers, hit that like button and subscribe. It helps us keep making these deep dive breakdowns, and trust me, you're going to want to hear just how bad this collapse really is. So what actually happened? Florida politicians made choices that alienated their most reliable customers. Instead of prioritizing the relationships that built Florida's economy, they leaned on short-term political theater. The fallout? Canadian snowbirds packed their bags for good. In just half a year, Florida saw a $6.6 billion annual loss from Canadian spending, a 72% drop in advance bookings for the next winter season, and tens of thousands of properties quietly hitting the market as foreign owners cashed out. When tourists walk away, the ripple hits hard. Property values in certain Florida communities have already dropped 30%. Think about that. Decades of rising values erased in months. Those waterfront condos once snapped up by Canadian retirees, now sitting empty or selling at a discount. Realtors are calling it a liquidation wave. And with fewer snowbirds buying, local tax bases are shrinking, putting pressure on already struggling city budgets. It's not just hotels and condos. Florida's healthcare industry, especially local medical centers and clinics, is feeling the squeeze. Seasonal patients from Canada once accounted for a huge chunk of revenue. But with snowbirds skipping Florida, some clinics report revenue drops as steep as 60%. That's not just bad for business. It's a crisis for local workers, nurses, and entire medical networks that staffed up to handle winter populations. Here's the kicker. While Florida was busy patting itself on the back, other destinations were busy cashing in. Portugal, Mexico, and the Caribbean are welcoming Canadians with open arms. Cheaper property, lower fees, and fewer political headaches. In fact, bookings to some of these destinations jumped right as Florida's dropped. It's a tourism exodus, and Florida's rivals are laughing all the way to the bank. So who's really paying the price? Not the politicians who caused it, it's the locals, workers in hotels, restaurants, rental companies, and healthcare who are suddenly out of jobs. Communities that depended on Canadian property owners to pay taxes and keep services running. And small businesses that thrived in tourist hotspots, now left with fewer customers and shrinking margins. When you chase away billions in reliable spending, it's not just tourists who leave. It's the stability of entire communities. The real question is whether Florida can recover from this. History says it won't be easy. Once trust is broken and tourists find better deals elsewhere, it's tough to win them back. Sure, Florida still has sunshine, but guess what? So does Mexico, so does the Caribbean, and those destinations are actively building stronger ties with Canadian visitors while Florida burns bridges. So here's where we land. Florida's politicians celebrated symbolic wins, but in the process, they detonated the state's most valuable economic engine. A $6.6 billion annual loss, collapsing property values, empty hotels, quiet beaches, and competitors taking full advantage. Was it worth it? Only time will tell, but the numbers don't lie. Would you still vacation in Florida after this, or are you taking your money somewhere else? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, hit that like button, and make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden stories shaping travel and tourism.